Hey guys, we have an urgent information coming out. Chuck accuses the US president of skipping town during shutdown as the president heads to Asia for trade talks. But this is the same man, well, you guys already know, the same man. Shutdown continues. All right, after Chuck and Senate blocked the GOP 12th attempt to reopen the Gov. All right, so the man that shut down the Gov for the 12th time is basically yapping his mouth that Donald is skipping town. All right, so it's not that Donald is skipping town. Donald is meeting with very important world leaders. They need to stop playing games and open up the when it comes to the snap. All right, so again, we're gonna see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. All right, so Fox News is putting out this info here. So you have Chuck left from New York on Friday, accused the U.S. commander of skipping town for a trip to Asia during the ongoing Gov shutdown. Well, it's not a trip. All right, this is a very important meeting. Again, don't get me wrong, millions of Americans come first, but remember, in October, he already put the emergency funds and he also paid the military. All right, so the right has been doing a lot to take care of Americans. My question to you guys, has the left helped out? Has the left signed a blank check, gave it to the 40 million Americans? Leave comments down below. But again, like I said, guys, Chuck is yapping his mouth when he actually shut it down Wednesday. So the U.S. commander departed for Asia Friday night for a week-long trip that would include stops in Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea. So you have the right and the left remain divided on negotiations to end the shutdown that began earlier this month, with each side blaming the other, as the GOP controls the White House and both chambers of Congress. In the midst of the longest full Gov shutdown in American history, a crisis of his own making, the U.S. commander priorities are severely misplaced, Chuck said in a statement. Oh, Chuck, my question to you is, why you closed the Gov? You would have opened it Wednesday. You would have opened it. You would have been a hero. Your name would have been up there in the top list. Man, this is the man that opened the Gov. Millions would have praised you. And well, I don't know about that. But again, you shut it down. It's not Donald's fault. You shut it down. While the sleeping giant citizens are struggling to make ends meet, federal workers are going without pay, and millions of families are bracing for soaring healthcare costs. The commander-in-chief is leaving the country, he continued. Well, he has a responsibility, Chuck. What do you expect? The man needs to meet world leaders. That's when you step in and the speaker and others. Do your job. It says here, Chuck added, the sleeping giant is shut down. Well, you shut it down Wednesday, dude. So the sleeping giant is shut down and the commander is skipping town. They love deceiving people. They do. They truly love deceiving people. I just feel bad for those that don't know politics. They read stuff like this and it just... Once again, Chucky said that the Blue have sought to meet with the U.S. commander, but that the commander is abandoning his responsibilities. Chuck, you do realize the man just paid the entire military during the Gov shutdown, right? And on top of that, he used the emergency fund for October. You saying that he doesn't care and he's abandoning his responsibility? He did a lot. He did more than what Joe did in 4 years. So it says here, you have the Blue have asked again and again for the commander to meet with us to negotiate a bipartisan deal that would address the healthcare crisis and find a path forward to reopen the Gov. But instead of doing his job, the commander is abandoning, Chuck said. He's not saying everything fully. Healthcare crisis. Again, he wants the, you know what, for illegals. Okay, you know the millions that came in for decades. Yeah, he wants to give them free stuff, and Donald is saying no. So that's the reason why we in this shutdown stuff. All right, so it says here, Chucky also called on the red lawmakers in Congress to work across the aisle to reach a deal to end the shutdown. With the U.S. command, excuse me, with the U.S. commander out of the country, the responsibility falls squarely on congressional right to act, to come to the table, to do their jobs, and to deliver an agreement that reopens the gov and protects Sleeping Giant citizens for another healthcare disaster, he said. He's not putting out all the info. Come to the round table. We need to talk. All right? We need to help the illegal. He's not saying that, but I'm going to have to read this part here due to advertisements. Americans deserve a gov that works as hard as they do, not a leader that flies away from responsibility at the time they need one most, Chuck said. How many times Joe ran? How many times has Joe ran from North Carolina? Remember that hurricane that slammed North Carolina? There wasn't no fun. Chuck explained that. And then when Elon and many people that had like their own private planes, they have food and stuff that they want to deliver. Elon had the Starlink satellite. What happened? You guys blocked it. No, you're not gonna help the North Carolinians. So, you know, I truly despise these, you know who, because they lie, they cheat, they steal. It's just, again, a lot of people know what I'm talking about. Again, Chuck has been doing this deceiving stuff for many years, decades. Unbelievable. And I'm not backing Donald here, because don't get me wrong, you know, the right is also at fault, all right? But it's, you know, more towards the blame is the blue, all right? Because they have the votes. They could end it if they want to. They're just giving Donald a hard time and trying to get the Sleeping Giant citizen to go against him. But again, it's just not happening. And, you know, it's like Mike Pence said, you can't play politics with people's lives. You can't do that. It says here, while in Asia, the U.S. commander is expected to meet with regional allies about trade, including trade war with the Red Dragon. So this is a very important one here. I think he's going to meet the leader for this country right here. Things could change, all right, when it comes to the trade war, as well as the Red Dragon tightening of export controls on rare earth minerals critical for certain technologies. Now, the commander is also expected to address security in the region and to affirm America's commitment to supporting its allies. So he still has a responsibility, yes, America, but he also has responsibility when it comes to meeting world leaders. But again, that's when Chuck and others need to step in. They, you know, they're like the substitute. You know, stop whining and complaining and do your job. But instead, they're just pointing fingers. Donna is the boogeyman. Donna is this. Donna is that. Give me a second here, guys. Give me a second here. So again, for those of you that don't know, this is the very important news. Your SNAP benefits card will stop working November 1st. And because of the shutdown. Now, I believe I believe, at the very last minute, before it hits midnight, and they always do this type of stuff, before it hits midnight, they're going to agree, and I do believe 42 million is going to get their stuff. But right now, what's going on is they're playing chicken, Again, this is, basically bluffing. I'm going all in. But at the very end, and nobody agrees, then, it just, you know. But again, like I say, guys, I do believe that they bluffing. And Donald knows it. That's why he left. He's not worried about it. But the blue is at fault. They do have the votes. They can end all this. But again, they just holding sleeping giant citizens hostage. Give me a second here, guys. Who's this Governor West? I'm sorry, but do you guys know what state Governor West? Oh, West Moore. He's. Give me a second here, guys. I know Governor Westmore. Give me a second. I want to see what state. Okay, so he's the governor of Maryland. Okay, so give me a second here. He just posted something. As a result of the federal gov shutdown, SNAP benefits are likely not to be deposited on the cards beginning November 1st. And 680,000 Marylanders who rely on SNAP to eat, including nearly 270,000 young ones, stand to go hungry. Whose fault is that? Who has the votes? That's the question here. Who has the votes? Now, during the previous shutdowns, the state of Maryland received reimbursement for federal expenses incurred from critical programs, but the U.S. Command Administration has provided zero assurance that our state will receive reimbursement. Now, we will continue to do everything in our power to ensure that the federal gov follows the law and provides funding for the critical services that our families, our young ones, and our veterans rely on. I just want to show this one really quick here. The shutdown continued after Chuck and his buddies blocked the GOP 12th attempt to reopen Gov. I just want to show that. Alright? Because a lot of people is pointing the finger at the wrong one. But, yeah, it's very sad what's going on, though. So once again, Gov shutdown. Governor Moore statement on SNAP benefits impacts due to the shutdown. I'm just looking for more updates here, guys. But once again, here's an update. Virginia, with more than 42 million sleeping giant citizens at risk of losing their, because of the situation, Virginia Gov declared a state of emergency on Thursday to help ensure that the 850,000 in his state who rely on the assistance don't go hungry. Okay, so you got mostly all the red declaring emergency. They're going to be feeding their people. But the left has not declared emergency. I don't know what they're doing, but they need to figure something out. Now, if their people start seeing some famines, again, don't blame Donald. You guys could declare emergency and get those funds. Okay, we need to bring this up really quick. Chuck said, this was posted back in October 23rd, the Gov is shut down. The sleeping giant citizens are in crisis. But the US commander is jetting off to foreign countries. This person said, Sean Spicer said, bro, you voted against paying active duty service members today. Bro. You and your buddies completely blocked the GOP 12th attempt to reopen Gov. So, I don't know, guys. I just feel like these people just completely lost their, you know what? It's just really sad. It's, you know, I mean, to them, lying is something normal. And it's pretty creepy. It's pretty creepy. We need to pray for them because, again, that's a really, 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 really disturbing path. Anyway, guys, share the video, like, subscribe. I will be praying for a lot of people out there, but again, hopefully by October 31st, we get some good news. But right now, guys, the left, the right, they're just playing all these games here. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, later. Peace.